Camillas, and now I'm going to talk about grammar and the element of linguistics. Grammar is called the science whose object of study is the components of a language and their combinations. Grammar, therefore, can be defined as a group of principles, rules, and precepts that govern the use of particular language. As a science, is viewed as a part of linguistics. The study of a language consists of four levels: the phonological level, the syntactic morphological level, the lexical semantic level, and the pragmatic level. Although the difference between these levels lack precision, the study of grammar is usually restricted to the syntactic morphological level. Functional grammar studies how words and phrases and sentences are used in the suitability of these elements according to the linguistic context and communicative situation in which they are used. According to his grammar model is functional because it's based on concept that consider language as a social instrument and seeks to discover the language system, although this is made of language expression in social interaction. The next one is formal grammar. It's a set of rules. It is used to identify correct or incorrect strings of tokens in a language. The formal grammar is represent like a academic way. It's used to generate possible things over the alphabet that is syntactically correct in this language. It's used mostly in the syntax analysis phase, particularly during the compilation. The next point is focus on form. Focus on form refer to different instructional practice in the second language classroom. Focus on form consists in primarily meaning-focused interaction in which there is brief and sometimes spontaneous attention of linguistic forms. In contrast, focus on form involves primary emphasizes on linguistic structures, often present of discrete grammar rules or other metalinguistic information. Focus on form assumes that acquisition occurs best when the learners pay attention in drawing to language items when they are needed or needed on the conversation. Focus on form emphasize the role of explicit knowledge in the acquisition process. Types of focus on form include input, float, input enhancement, and corrective feedback. Types of focus form include present, practice, and produce, and explicit language instruction. Instructional methods with aspect of both of type instructions include consciousness, rising, activities, and input-based instruction. The next point is corpus linguistic. Corpus linguistic is the study of the based on large collection. Is the study of the language based on a large collection of a real-life language is stored in corpora, computerized database credit for linguistic research, and also known as a corpus-based studies. Corpus linguistic is viewed by some linguistics as a research tool or methodology, and by others as a discipline or theory in its own right. Also, corpus linguistic is a methodology comprising a large number of related methods which can be used by scholars of many different theoretical learnings. On other hands, it can be denied that corpus linguistic is also frequently associated with a certain outlook of language. At the center of this outlook is that the rules of language are use-based, and that change occur when the speaker uses language to communicative with each other. Learning grammar is essential to master a language, but it cannot be forgotten that a language is above all a way of communication, a way of communicating. As a resume, when we begin to study a language, we are solely immersed into the study of grammar. But what is grammar? When we can define grammar as the set of rules that control the way of language works. And why is it necessary to learn grammar? Studying from the definition offered above, we can say that if we master the grammar of a language, we will master the language itself. Since we will be able to handle and manipulate words and units with meaning that we don't not express to be understood. Until relatively recently, the study of grammar was considered highly relevant in language teaching. However, today, the importance of teaching grammar is being questioned. What is clear in the knowledge of grammatical rules is essential for mastering a language, but the acquisition of these rules is approached very differently by a native speaker and by a language student. The acquisition of the mother tongue in childhood is a conscious process and does not require planning. For learning, on the other hand, the student of second language, in this case, is a conscious learning process that requires more or less education. So, in this way, as a teacher, we must to pay attention on the way of we are teaching or in our classroom, because the grammar and the linguistic, we have to be careful to the way to plan the activities, to the way to talk with our students, to identify the problems that they could be have in the classroom in this way, and that's it. Thank you.